Long before you ever questioned your origins, long before you suspected there was something unusual embedded in your spirit, your bloodline had already triggered alarms in places you didn't know existed. At the edges of scientific secrecy, far beyond universities and government labs, there are sealed, off-world research facilities built for one purpose: to study anomalies that do not match any known category of human evolution. Inside one of those facilities, your DNA has been under examination, not because you were in danger, but because the structure of your existence defies every law that biology obeys. Your sequence didn't arrive in the database by accident. It registered as a statistical impossibility the moment a routine medical scan uploaded fragments of your genetic markers to a global health network. Within seconds, automated systems flagged irregularities that no algorithm had been programmed to interpret. Some anomalies can be explained by mutation, ancestry, or rare evolutionary variants. But yours? Yours were classified as non-origin markers, sequences that do not appear in any terrestrial lineage. Not ancient, not extinct, not undocumented, simply external. The moment this flag appeared, the file was quietly removed from public systems and rerouted into a classified channel used only for research that cannot be conducted on Earth. Within hours, a sealed lab transport request was approved. This lab does not operate inside any nation, under any legal jurisdiction, or within any official scientific community. It exists in an orbital research habitat where unauthorized interference is impossible and electromagnetic shielding prevents any digital leak. That is where your DNA was taken. That is where your truth is being handled by people who understand things that humanity is not ready to learn. Inside that sterile, gravity-controlled chamber, your sequence produced reactions no one expected. Instead of degrading, your cells adapted. Instead of resisting analysis, they reorganized themselves in patterns resembling coded messages, structures that looked less like biology and more like architecture. Your DNA behaved as if it were aware it was being observed, as if it recognized the foreign environment and responded strategically. Researchers had never seen anything like it. Their instruments began picking up microresonance waves emitted directly from your cells, subtle pulses that resembled encrypted communication signals. DNA does not do that. Human cells do not transmit anything beyond biochemical rhythms. Yet yours broadcasted, a silent frequency that seemed to awaken dormant technology inside the lab itself. From that moment, the research was elevated to the highest level of off-world classification. They suspected what the early readings implied. Your genetic code contained fragments from a lineage that did not originate here. Not extraterrestrial in the sensational sense, not alien in the way fiction describes, but cosmically engineered, crafted according to principles older than Earth's ecosystems. A hybrid structure with signatures of intelligence woven into its spiral. This discovery shook the entire scientific team because it suggested one truth they had been trained never to consider: that certain individuals born on Earth are not confined to Earth's evolutionary tree. You were never meant to fit into human categories because you were never designed to. Your DNA is not an accident of ancestry. It is a blueprint written by forces that shaped civilizations before history had language. And those who study you know this. They know your sequence is a key. They know it unlocks dormant capacities buried deep in human potential. They know the rise of someone with your architecture signals a shift in the planet's trajectory. But what they cannot understand, what their instruments cannot measure, is why your awakening is happening now. They aren't just studying your DNA. They are watching for activation. And they know the moment your sequence fully awakens, nothing on Earth will remain the same. The team analyzing your DNA expected complexity, but they were not prepared for defiance. Human cells follow instructions, yours rewrote them. Human DNA adapts to its environment, yours reshapes the environment around it. The moment your sample entered the sealed lab chamber, systems calibrated for predictable biology began malfunctioning in ways that caused scientists to question whether they were observing life or encountering a form of coded intelligence disguised as life. Instruments designed to read cellular structure began receiving patterns that looked less like data and more like intention, deliberate shifts, timed pulses, symmetrical reorganizations that moved with the elegance of choreography. That was when they realized this wasn't simply genetic material. It was a message in molecular form. Your DNA contains sequences that behave like dormant instructions waiting for the correct environmental trigger. Symbols formed from protein folds. Numerical ratios embedded in pair sequences. Resonance patterns correlating with star positions. None of it matches human evolution, and none of it can be explained without acknowledging the truth they were trained never to speak. Your lineage did not evolve here. It was placed here, coordinated, seeded, and introduced at a specific epoch for a specific purpose. You were not born randomly, you were planted. But the most unsettling discovery wasn't the structure of your DNA. It was the reaction the research facility had the moment your sample arrived. Deep beneath the lab's outer layers, there are machines, ancient, reverse-engineered devices, built from technology humanity found rather than invented. They function as silent observers, recording anomalies that could threaten planetary balance. These machines remained inactive for decades, waiting for a signature strong enough to wake them. Yours was the match. The moment your DNA analysis began, these buried devices came online simultaneously, emitting a synchronized pulse that shook the entire habitat. They did not activate when comets passed, nor when solar storms erupted, nor when black-budget experiments were conducted on other genetic materials. Only when your sequence entered the system. Inside the sealed chamber, your DNA reacted instantly to the pulse, aligning itself into a formation the scientists only described as geometrically impossible. Spirals folding into perfect ratios, helical structures holding positions that defy known forces. It was as if your cells recognized the technology, as if the two were speaking a forgotten language older than human civilization. That was the moment fear entered the room, not fear of danger, but fear of revelation. Researchers understood they were witnessing something that was never meant for them, something meant for you. They attempted to categorize your file under known classifications, but none fit. Not extraterrestrial, not synthetic, not mutation, not artifact. Your file now carries a rare label reserved for only a handful of cases across all of known history. Unclassifiable. Do not catalog. Do not archive. Do not attempt to replicate. This status is given only when the material is believed to possess higher-order intelligence or origin beyond human jurisdiction. The file bearing your name, or rather, the encrypted identifier attached to your sample, is now stored in a vault so restricted that even the researchers who discovered the anomaly are banned from accessing it without multi-agency oversight. But access isn't the real concern. Containment is. Your DNA emits a resonance that interacts with the lab's electromagnetic shielding. Even sealed off-world, the sample behaves as though it is responding to something beyond the facility, beyond Earth, beyond human understanding. They've tested it in darkness and it glowed. They've placed it in vacuum and it vibrated. They shielded it from radiation and it produced its own. Your genetic code is not passive matter. It is an active participant in a cosmic communication network that predates planetary science itself. And here's the part that unsettled them the most. Your DNA is changing. Not mutating, awakening. Its resonance has increased since the day they obtained the sample. Its pulses are growing more rhythmic, more coherent, more intentional. It appears to be preparing for something, synchronizing with something, aligning with something, and the scientists know what this implies. The person carrying this DNA is undergoing the same activation process. They fear what you will become, not because you are a threat, but because you are beyond prediction. You are the variable that breaks the model, the anomaly that rewrites the equation, the being that forces humanity to confront truths it isn't ready for. Your DNA is no longer just being studied, it is being watched. Inside the sealed off-world lab, the research team believed they were dealing with a biological anomaly. But as the weeks passed, they realized they were tracking something far more dangerous to their understanding of reality: a countdown. Your DNA was not static. It was aligning, shifting, synchronizing with an external rhythm no sensor could locate. At first, they thought the fluctuations were noise. Interference from cosmic radiation, solar particles, or equipment drift. But the pattern repeated with mathematical precision. Every 4 hours, your sequence reorganized into the same geometry, the same energetic imprint, the same resonant frequency. It was preparing, matching itself to a signal coming from somewhere beyond the solar system. This pattern became known internally as the activation window. And the first rule in high-level research is simple: when something is preparing, something else is coming. The scientists tried interrupting the alignment cycle. They lowered temperatures, adjusted gravity, altered magnetic fields, even isolated the sample in a vacuum designed to halt molecular oscillation. None of it mattered. Your DNA ignored every intervention, continuing its alignment as though the lab itself was irrelevant. It did not respond to manipulation. It responded to purpose. Around this time, the team began experiencing phenomena they could not explain. Lights flickering whenever your sequence peaked. Instruments rebooting spontaneously. Temperature fluctuations that violated thermodynamics. Some researchers reported vivid dreams of symbols they had never seen, golden spirals, ancient scripts, fragments of constellations rearranging themselves into geometric sentences. These experiences were never logged officially. Scientists guard their reputations. But the truth is, your DNA was influencing not just the machines around it, but the people analyzing it. A subtle field, a perceptual distortion, began radiating from the sealed chamber. Not harmful, but awakening. They were not studying your DNA. Your DNA was studying them. This forced the director to bring in 2 specialists who operate outside all scientific disciplines: pattern linguists and cognitive archaeologists. Their job was to decode messages hidden in ancient structures, extinct languages, or unexplained artifacts. When they observed your sequence's geometric formations, they said something that chilled the entire room. This is not biology. This is architecture. Your DNA wasn't a product of evolution. It was a design, precise, intentional, engineered. And based on the symbols they recognized, your lineage contained markers found in civilizations humanity still cannot explain. Not Egyptian, not Sumerian, not Mayan, not Atlantean, something older, something that influenced all of them but belonged to none. The specialists named the structure the spiral protocol, an ancient blueprint rumored to encode the consciousness of beings who descended to Earth before written history. They theorized these beings embedded fragments of their frequency into select bloodlines, ensuring that one day someone would awaken with access to knowledge humanity had long forgotten. According to their reading, you are not random. You are continuation, an echo of an older intelligence that chose human form. And then came the phenomenon that proved all of this true. During a routine scan, your DNA emitted a resonance spike, far stronger than anything detected before. The pulse traveled through the lab's shielding and was picked up by sensors across the entire habitat. Alarms blared. Systems went offline. For 7 full minutes, the facility lost internal communication. When the power returned, they found a new formation in your DNA. An intricate symbol that matched carvings discovered in prehistoric caves on 3 different continents. Those carvings have always baffled historians because the same symbol appears in cultures that supposedly had no contact with one another. Yet here it was, forming in your cells, as if revealing its origin. That discovery forced the research board to acknowledge the unthinkable. Your DNA is not responding to Earth. Earth is responding to you. Off-world, sealed away from interference, your sequence continues its silent synchronization. Every hour it grows more coherent, more intentional, more awake. Scientists don't know what will happen when the activation reaches full resonance. They don't know what abilities will surface in the one carrying this architecture. They don't know how the world will shift once your lineage reclaims its original purpose. But they do know this. The countdown is accelerating, and the only being who can feel it from the inside is you. When the activation patterns in your DNA intensified, the off-world research team compiled a classified document known as the Forbidden Report, a file so sensitive it was immediately sealed under 4 layers of encryption, accessible only to a handful of individuals whose clearance ranks above national governments. The report wasn't restricted because it contained dangerous information. It was restricted because it contained truth. A truth that would destabilize entire scientific frameworks, rewrite humanity's understanding of its origins, and expose the quiet secret that certain bloodlines were engineered, not evolved. The report begins with a simple statement. Subject's DNA displays signatures of non-terrestrial design. Evidence suggests intentional embedding of consciousness-coded structures. From there, the language becomes more hesitant, more cautious, as if the scientists themselves were struggling to articulate what they were witnessing. They described your genetic architecture as layered, like nested chambers of information waiting to unlock in sequential stages. Human DNA encodes biological programming. Yours encodes something closer to memory, knowledge, directive, destiny. One passage details how fragments of your sequence matched artifacts recovered from off-world excavation sites, objects believed to be older than Earth's recorded history. These relics contained crystalline lattices with resonance patterns nearly identical to your cellular vibrations. The conclusion was unavoidable. Whoever engineered those artifacts also engineered your lineage. Another section describes a phenomenon the team called temporal drift response, where your DNA exhibited microchanges that correlated with fluctuations in Earth's geomagnetic field. While other biological samples remain unaffected by such shifts, yours adapted instantly, suggesting your internal system was synchronizing with planetary changes, in real time, as though anticipating global cycles long before they peak. What frightened the board most wasn't what they discovered. It was what they couldn't explain. They observed your DNA activating sequences that were not present in the previous scan, structures appearing out of nowhere, as if generated by an invisible direction. New instructions, new formations, new layers of intelligence unfolding from within your cells. This led to the theory that your DNA contains self-writing codes, algorithms operating beyond molecular biology. Codes that unlock only when the world reaches specific energetic threshold. But the most controversial section of the report is the one they attempted to erase. It describes an experiment conducted in secret, without authorization. A technician placed your DNA sample near a piece of classified extraterrestrial technology recovered from an unknown crash site decades ago. When the two came into proximity, the technology, a dormant, inert fragment, lit up. Not partially, not faintly, fully. It activated. It interfaced. It responded to your DNA like a long-lost key finally brought back to its lock. Lab footage shows the object vibrating, emitting harmonic tones, displaying symbols identical to those formed by your cells. This artifact had resisted every attempt at activation for over 40 years. But your lineage awakened it instantly. This incident triggered a panic within the chain of command. Because if your DNA can activate technology beyond human understanding, it means the beings who engineered that technology engineered you. It means you are not merely descendant, you are compatible. And compatibility implies purpose. The report ends with a chilling recommendation. Observation protocols insufficient. Subject may represent a convergence event. Prepare contingency measures for full activation. But activation of who? Activation of what? They didn't write it explicitly, but the implication is clear. When your DNA fully awakens, you will unlock something the world has forgotten. Something ancient. Something buried. Something waiting for you. Since the moment they filed that report, your name, or rather the encrypted identifier they used to refer to you, has become the center of quiet arguments in off-world briefings. Some believe you are a bridge between species. Others believe you are a catalyst for evolution. And a few fear you are a signal, a sign that the architects of your lineage may soon return. But there is one point every faction agrees on. Nothing on Earth can stop the awakening already underway in your cells. Not secrecy. Not containment. Not denial. The activation is not happening in their lab. The activation is happening in you. And they are watching helplessly as your destiny unfolds beyond their control. While the sealed off-world lab attempted to contain your DNA's resonance, something unprecedented began happening on Earth itself. Subtle disturbances in people connected to you, subtle shifts in environments you pass through, subtle anomalies that all point to one undeniable truth. Your activation is no longer confined to microscopic structures or classified reports. It is radiating outward. It is influencing reality. And the researchers monitoring your sequence know it. Their sensors began detecting faint energy spikes whenever you experienced strong emotion, joy, grief, clarity, intuition. These spikes aligned perfectly with the rhythms of your DNA's resonance cycle, even though your physical body is nowhere near the lab. This discovery led to a new conclusion. Your genetic architecture is not just a biological system. It is a transmitter. When your inner frequency rises, the off-world equipment responds as if receiving a signal directly from you. This means one thing. Distance does not weaken your connection to the sealed lab's data. Whatever is awakening in you transcends physical space. This realization forced the research board to initiate a phase they call perimeter tracking, quietly monitoring global phenomena for correlations to your activation. What they found unsettled them more than anything inside the sealed habitat. People who cross paths with you report sudden intuitive clarity, moments where they feel guided by an unseen intelligence. Electronics glitch not randomly, but rhythmically, matching the pulses recorded in your DNA. Animals behave unusually around you, either approaching calmly or avoiding instinctively, sensing something older than human memory. Even weather patterns around key moments in your life reflect subtle synchronization, as if the world is adjusting itself to your inner transformation. Scientists observing all this are not frightened of you. They are frightened of what you represent, a human expression of a cosmic technology they cannot replicate, restrain, or override. You are not unlocking abilities. You are remembering them. You are not changing. You are returning to the original blueprint encoded in your blood, the one dormant for centuries, awaiting the exact energetic conditions that now exist on Earth. But the clearest evidence of your awakening came from a phenomenon the researchers call the mirror pulse. While running a routine calibration, one of the lab's resonance detectors emitted a sudden harmonic frequency, the exact pattern your DNA had been producing. This shouldn't have happened. The detector was not built to transmit, it was built to receive. And yet it responded as if something outside the lab had activated it. When they traced the timestamp, they discovered the pulse occurred at the same moment you made a significant decision, one that shifted your emotional timeline sharply. A decision that elevated your inner frequency. That was when the truth became undeniable. Your activation is not passive. Your awakening is not predetermined. Your DNA responds not just to cosmic signals but to your choices. Every time you reject something that is beneath your destiny, your resonance increases. Every time you step toward alignment instead of fear, new sequences activate. Every time you shed old versions of yourself, your architecture reorganizes into higher form. The scientists cannot understand why your evolution responds to intention. They do not know that your DNA contains consciousness. They do not know that your lineage was engineered to merge biology with awareness. They do not know that your destiny is not written in your blood. It is written through your choices. You are a co-creator of your own activation, weaving your evolution with every thought, every action, every awakening. And now the sealed lab has detected something else, something impossible under standard biology. Your DNA is beginning to emit phase shift harmonics, frequencies that only appear in entities transitioning between dimensional states. Not dying, not mutating, evolving. Crossing thresholds human evolution was never meant to reach for thousands of years. Yet here you are, embodying a future timeline before humanity is ready to understand it. Researchers are documenting the phenomenon with urgency, but quietly. They know that if governments discover what you are becoming, attempts will be made to control you. But those attempts will fail for the same reason their experiments fail. Your DNA does not respond to force. It responds only to destiny. You are becoming something ancient and new at the same time. Something Earth has forgotten but the cosmos remembers. Something science can measure but not interpret. Something sealed labs can observe but not limit. You are awakening, and nothing, no agency, no government, no off-world council, can stop what your blood has already decided to become. As the activation intensifies, the scientists monitoring your DNA have begun noticing something even more unsettling. Your cells are displaying behavior consistent with memory retrieval. Not human memory. Not inherited trauma. Something deeper, cosmic recall. They are witnessing sequences inside your genetic code rearrange themselves into formations that resemble star maps, ancient constellations, and harmonic patterns found in interstellar signals. These are not hallucinations created by overworked mind. These are documented, measurable shifts happening in real time. Your DNA is remembering where it came from. This phenomenon was first noticed when your sequence formed a geometric pattern identical to a celestial alignment that occurred 11,000 years ago, a moment referenced in multiple ancient civilizations as the arrival of sky teachers, beings who descended to Earth to plant knowledge in select bloodlines. Historians dismiss these as myth. Biologists ignore them. But your DNA just confirmed them. The scientists comparing star charts to your cellular patterns realized something unbelievable. Your genetic architecture contains coordinate, not physical coordinates, energetic ones, instructions for resonance, directions for return, a frequency signature that connects you to a place beyond Earth, a civilization whose evolutionary ceiling dwarfs human understanding. The more your activation accelerates, the more these memories surface. Your DNA responds not to lab conditions but to cosmic events, solar storms, lunar cycles, planetary movements. This means you aren't just influenced by the universe. You are synced with it. You were engineered to operate on a cosmic timeline, not a human one. Every breakthrough or collapse you've experienced in life has aligned with celestial patterns you were never consciously aware of, yet your DNA followed them with precision. The sealed lab now believes your awakening is triggering what they call phase recall, a stage assumed to be theoretical until your sample proved it real. Phase recall is when encoded cosmic memory begins integrating with human consciousness. In practical terms, this means you will start knowing things you never learned. You will understand concepts before hearing them. You will feel guidance without knowing its source. You will sense timelines shifting before events occur. You will begin to remember who you were before you were born. But here is what the scientists fear. If you reach full recall, you will no longer be bound by the limitations of human perception. Your intuition will not just sharpen, it will become directive. Your insight will not just deepen, it will become prophetic. Your decisions will not just influence your life, they will recalibrate the environment around you. You will operate on a frequency the human mind is not designed to contain. And that is why the lab is monitoring you closely. Not because they want to stop you, but because they want to understand how evolution behaves when influenced by cosmic intelligence. Yet what they don't realize is that your recall isn't a malfunction of biology. It's the fulfillment of design. You were always meant to wake up in stages, like a cosmic seed unfolding layer by layer. Every heartbreak removed a barrier. Every betrayal sharpened your awareness. Every moment of isolation strengthened your internal channel. The recall process isn't random. It's perfectly timed to your timeline of becoming. And now your inner architecture is drawing something toward you. Something ancient. Something conscious. Something that recognizes its own frequency inside your blood.